hope you guys find victory over that one thing that's stealing from you and stealing from God, stealing from the kingdom, and that the enemy is placed in front of you like a carrot on a stick that you chase wherever you go. That thing is an idol, and it's not going to feed you. It's not going to fulfill you. It's a lie. Have you ever heard someone say, I need a smoke, I need a drink, I need a holiday? Fill in the blank. I'm pretty sure you have. That's the reason for this video. Today I'm going to talk to you about addiction and how comfort plays a massive role in addiction. And the reason why I'm doing this video at this time of year is because I feel ready to do that. I've struggled with addiction my entire life, and you've seen probably, if you haven't, I uploaded part one of my testimony a couple of months ago, probably around the start of this year. And I have battled with a lot of addictions. In that part one video, which is in Afrikaans unfortunately, I talk about how I struggled with partying addiction, alcohol, girls, smoking, cigarettes, all that stuff, and how the Lord freed me from it. But the second part I touched on, but I didn't really elaborate on it because I haven't gotten victory over it yet. And now I'm at a point where I feel it's safe to say that I have gotten victory over this addiction in my life. And this addiction, and it might seem silly to you, but it's gaming addiction, and more specifically a specific game called World of Warcraft. Hello guys, I'm Adriaan van Scheepers and I am the host of the Huntsman show. Now, I don't usually do videos in English because it's an Afrikaans channel, but I feel that more people will benefit from this video, and that's why I'm doing it in English. And I hope to reach more people. That's the honest truth. And obviously Afrikaans is limited to 44 people according to Charlize Theron. But I know there's more of you guys out there. There's more of us out there. I just feel the need to do this video in English. So if you're here for the first time, welcome. And thank you for tuning in. If you're here for returning as a returning viewer, welcome back. And this is a online ministry. This is a show that's dedicated and aimed and focused on encouraging people to live a life that has its foundation on the Word of God and that is pleasing to God, to become men and women again that are living out their roles as men and women of God. While you're here, please leave us a comment or subscribe if you feel led to do so. We'd appreciate it so much, and this obviously helps us to get our content before and in front of more people and on more screens. And that's ultimately our aim, is to just encourage people and bring hope to people and encourage them to live a life that is not only pleasing to God, but also better for them. So today I'm talking about addiction, and I'm talking about probably my biggest addiction, the thing that I struggled with the most. Now, first of all, I want to mention that I've had so many people on this channel that has struggled with various addictions, from drugs to pornography to partying to alcohol to just painkillers and pain medication, and I mean, fill in the blank. We've had it on this show, but we haven't really had someone who has spoken about gaming addiction. And that's why I feel the need to do this, because there are numerous addictions. And so many addictions that we don't even realize, like sugar. Sugar is definitely probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest addiction in the world, and probably the biggest drug that all people struggle with. I know I have a sweet tooth and I love me some gummy sweets. But, I mean, it's bad for you. It's really unhealthy. I've had 2 people on the show speaking specifically about digital addiction, and the one guest, unfortunately, both those videos are also in Afrikaans. So for the English viewers, you won't understand them, but for the Afrikaans viewers, please go and revisit them. It's with Dr. Anke de Beer, or Dr. Anke Brandt, because she got married, and with Hemery Meyer, and they deal specifically with digital addiction with parents and children in schools. In Dr. Anke's episode, we touched on her brother struggling with gaming addiction and also struggling with addiction with World of Warcraft specifically, and how that negatively impacted his life. Now, I want to attest to that and I want to dive a little deeper into the signs that someone is struggling with addiction. Now, you might not be struggling with gaming addiction, but you might be struggling with some or other addiction, and you're aware of it, or you might not be aware of it. So I'm doing this video to help you recognize and pinpoint that addiction and hopefully overcome that addiction. Now, let's get to my story. I started playing World of Warcraft around 2005, just the year after the game launched in the US. Obviously, back then it took a little longer for things to come to South Africa, and back then we had dial-up networks, and we were on the short end of the technology spectrum. But I played it at a friend of mine. His mom was into IT, and they had a really good internet connection for South Africa back then, and they had good PCs, and so they got the game and we started playing it. So him and his brother had their own accounts, and I started playing on my friend's account, and I had a rogue, a night elf rogue. I still remember that name. His name was Adriaan, which was my nickname back then. And that game just hooked me. From the first moment I played that game, it hooked me. And every moment I would go over to my friend's house and we would make turns. I would play for an hour, he would play for an hour, I would play for an hour, he would play for an hour. And I had a character on his brother's account as well. And I believe that was a druid. In other words, I was basically always playing. Between him and his brother, we made turns. But if his brother wasn't playing, I was playing on his brother's account. If he's not playing, I was playing on his account. And I just fell in love with the game. And back then it was innocent, I didn't realize that this was the start of probably over a 20-year struggle with something that's so ridiculous, like an online game. But I started seeing the signs when I started making excuses not to do my duties anymore, started making excuses to get out of work, started calling in sick, started ditching and skipping class at the university to play this game and to go and sleep over at my friend's house so we can play the game. And then it started impacting my life really poorly. Back then it was partying and gaming. That's all I knew. We'd even go to the shop and we'd buy a bunch of beers and brandy and Coke and chips, and we'd just sit for an entire weekend and drink and play World of Warcraft. I remember one time we got so drunk and tired playing the game for like 2 days straight that we were doing a battleground, which is player versus player. We were running out of the starting zone together, and he was just like running into the wall with his character. And I looked over and he was asleep. He was literally sitting like this, and he passed out with his fingers still on the forward button. And back then it was funny to us. I mean, that's what we knew, and we didn't really, realize what the scope of the damage would be in the long run. We just continued doing what we were doing. And later on, I got my own PC and I got my own World of Warcraft account, and then things got even worse. I would go home, pack up my PC, I would drive over there, and I would stay there for days, possibly even a week on end, and we would just play that non-stop and sleep very little. We'd take like power naps to just go back into the game. Then I got saved in 2007, and that's when I realized that this game is a problem. It's an idol. It's a god. It's become a small g god in my life, and things had to change. And I quit the game. I quit the game for a couple of years, really focused in on like being in a church, being in ministry. We started a ministry called Rebels for Christ, where we would go out into the street and preach to people and pray for people and give them word and just give them words of encouragement and just share the gospel. And a couple of years later, I met my wife. Well, we re-met. And I started playing again. Just because I thought that I was over the addiction. I could allow this game back into my life because I wasn't addicted to it. I wasn't addicted to anything back then. So I felt confident that I could play this game without it reaching the same level of addiction as it had in the past. And before I knew it, I was back at it. Started drinking again, started playing the game every chance I got. And this happened. This was a vicious cycle in my life until recently, I'm sad to say, where I would quit the game and start playing it again. Would quit it, start playing it. Would quit it because I realized how negatively it impacted my life. I quit it and then I just start playing it again. And only recently I quit it for good. And I realized that I cannot allow this game back into my life. I just can't. Because every time I get to a place where I feel like I've got it down, and I won't allow it to become such a big part of my life again. It just happens again. And this time it's different because this time I gave it to the Lord. And like with all my episodes, guys, you can go and look through it every single time when a person reaches a point where he tells God, I can't do this without you. I can't overcome this thing in my life. And I just reached that point where I told God, Lord, this time I'm quitting, but I'm not quitting it on my own. I'm giving it to you. I'm laying it down at your feet. Because I can't, and it sounds so stupid to me, it sounds really ridiculous to me, but I cannot overcome this addiction in my life. You have to step in. You have to give me the strength and the power to do this. You have to give me the victory, because I cannot beat this thing. So what would happen was, and these are the signs that I want to point out, I would hide this from everyone because I knew it was a problem. I knew that I had a problem with this game. So I would start playing it, but I would hide it from everyone. I would rearrange my office just so my screens are not visible when you come into my door. So I would have the opportunity to see someone come in and quickly tab out of the game so that my family, my wife and my kids wouldn't see me playing this game. And as I'm saying it, I just realize how sad that is. And you know what the Bible says? The Bible says that nothing that is done in secret, there is nothing that is done in secret that wouldn't be revealed one day. And I'm so grateful to confess and to say and to proclaim that this time I've quit before it came to that. And now I'm revealing this. I'm confessing this. It's not that someone has ousted me or someone has found me out. I have the boldness to come to you and tell you that this time I'm revealing my mistake. I'm revealing that I know this game, this stupid game, is a problem in my life and that I have to give it up. So if you're hiding something from your loved ones, if you're doing something that you don't want other people to see, even if it's something that you feel is not going to be hurtful to them, it's a problem. It's an idol. When you get to a point where you're making plans to do something, when you're taking breaks to have a smoke, when your entire life is based around planning your next party, planning your next break, planning your next holiday, it's an idol. Because that's where I was. I would go out with my family, and after an hour or so I would start thinking about getting home to play this game. And I know this sounds so ridiculous, but that's the truth. That's the honest truth. And I just want to thank God that He started sending me these signals, started sending me these messages about this is becoming a massive problem again in your life. And I wanted to quit for months before I actually quit. I wanted to quit for months. And one morning I was actually on my way down to my office to play the game. And I sat down at my PC, and it's again the same way I quit drinking a couple of years ago. It's just as if God just gave me permission to let it go. And He said, now's the time. Delete the game. Remove it from your life. Now is the time. If you don't do this now, it's gonna become a problem. It's already been a problem. But you know what happens when God gives you these moments of clarity? You have to act on them immediately. Because something bad is on its way, and God is warning you. Like, stop. If you don't stop, it's gonna come. It's gonna hit you. It might still hit you. And I'm so grateful that I can sit here and tell you guys that I've been freed. Just like my drinking, and man, I've struggled with so many things, but God has freed me from every single one of them. I did not do it from my own strength, out of my own power. It's Him. And if you're struggling with something, take it to God. You know what we tend to do? We tend to hide like Adam and Eve when they ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. What's the first thing they did? They hid. They tried to hide from God. When God came into the garden, He called out and He said, Adam, where are you? I mean, obviously God knew where he was. God knew he was hiding because God is God. But God still had to call out to him. And Adam said, I heard you coming into the garden, and I hid because I'm naked. And God asked him, who told you that you're naked? And that's exactly what I did when playing that game. I would come into my office, like I said, I rearranged my desk so that people wouldn't be able to see my screens. And as soon as people came into the office, I would tab out. And I would be guilty, man. I think I'm hiding it, but they can see that I'm doing something that I shouldn't be doing. It's exactly the same as what happened with Adam and Eve. They tried to hide it from God. They tried to hide their sin from God, and we tend to get to a place where we feel far away from God. We have to hide from God. God is angry at us. God doesn't want to bless us. God doesn't want to have good things for us. But that's all lies from the enemy. If you are doing something that you know in your heart is not in the will of God, take it to Him. Just go to Him and tell Him, God, I've got this thing, and you know about it, but I'm confessing it, and I'm asking you to come into my life to give me victory over it, because I don't want to do it anymore. And in many cases, you do want to do it, because that's where I was. I didn't want to quit WoW for long. I tried to come up with reasons and excuses and tried and justified my addiction by saying, no, it's not that bad. I'm not spending that much time. Or I would say, no, I'm in ministry. I'm doing this for the Lord. I'm doing this for the Lord. I did that yesterday. I did this today. So now I've got a green card, a ticket to play my game for a while and go into my addiction. That's another lie of the enemy. You know what Jesus says to people? He says, many of you will come to me and say, Lord, Lord, didn't we prophesy in your name? Didn't we drive out demons in your name? And he would say to them, depart from me. I never knew you. I don't want to be that guy. I want to come to Jesus now and tell him, Lord, I'm struggling. I'm failing. I'm falling short. I'm missing the mark. Help me. I need victory over this in my life. I know you can give me that victory, and it might take time, but here I am, Lord. I'm laying this at your feet. I'm laying myself down at your feet. Heal me. Save me. That's what you have to do. You have to take it to God. And if you're uncertain whether something is a problem in your life or not, I'm going to give you some more advice. Go to your loved ones, go to your wife or your parents or your brother or sister or your best friend and ask them, you think this thing is a problem in my life? Do you think this thing is causing pain to you or to me? And if they say yes, then it's most likely a problem. And then you can also take it to God. Because many times we do something without realizing that it's a problem. It's a problem in our marriages or in our relationships, or it steals time from important things like work or family. And then we tend to run away from our duties to spend time in our comfort zones. Because that's what it is, man. To me, World of Warcraft was my comfort zone. It's a place I could escape to. It's a place I could go to forget about all my problems and forget about my wife and I just having an argument, and forget about my kid being disrespectful, forget about my clients not appreciating my work. It's a place where I could go to escape. And that's an idol. Jesus tells us in the Bible that He is our rest. We can only find our rest, our comfort, our peace, our joy in Him. Not in something, not in a cigarette break, not in a beer after work, not in watching the Springboks beat Ireland. Only in Him we find our rest. And that's why I'm telling you, comfort zones walk hand in hand with addiction. God calls us away from comfort. He calls us to purpose. And in that purpose, we find peace and joy. Those are the two things He promises us. He says, complete joy and a peace that goes above all our understanding. And He says that He gives us comfort through the Holy Spirit. So where do we find rest? Where do we find purpose? Where do we find peace? Where do we find joy? In Jesus, in nothing else. And if anything is a source of any one of those things to you, it's a false source, first of all. And second of all, it's an idol. And to me, that was gaming. To you, it could be your wife. It could be your children. It could be your work. It could be the car you drive. It could be your hobby. those things are not our purpose. But we find purpose through Jesus in doing those things. And if it's not in God's will, if it's stealing from Him, if it's taking time from Him, it's an idol. So I just wanted to tell you this story. It's not a teaching. It's just a story of me and my struggle with gaming addiction. And like I said, probably the one addiction that I've struggled the most throughout my life to get rid of and to overcome. And again, I couldn't have done it without God. I couldn't have done it without His permission to say, come home to me. And like the prodigal son, He accepted me with open arms. I was walking down that dirt road with shame in my heart towards my Father's house. And He accepted me with open arms. Accepted me back. And said, here's a new ring for you. Here's a new robe for you. I give you victory over this. He's the only one who can do it. And He will always accept you back. He will always love you. He's never mad at you. Yes, I believe God gets frustrated with us. But He's always there. And He's always ready to accept you and take you back in to His hands and protect you and give you victory over those things. Because He is the good Father. Yeah. Oh, it feels good to do this video. It feels so freeing. It feels like a weight is lifted off of my chest and off my back. And like Rassi said over the weekend, for those who watched the Springboks beat Ireland, the monkey is off my back. And I'm grateful, man. I feel lighter and I feel like I've got so much more time. And I've already started doing so many things that I never did, because every little spare time, second that I had, I spent on that game. And yeah, man, I hope you guys find victory over that one thing that's stealing from you and stealing from God, stealing from the kingdom, and that the enemy is placed in front of you like a carrot on a stick that you chase wherever you go. That thing is an idol, and it's not going to feed you. It's not going to fulfill you. It's a lie. The only thing that can feed us and fill us is God. We do not only live off bread alone, but every word from the mouth of God. So yeah, guys, thank you for watching. I hope you found some encouragement in this. And if you're still here, just want to thank you. And I hope that it blessed you, this story of mine. And I hope that it can encourage you to take your whatever you are struggling with to God. Because that's where your victory lies. Not in my words or my video. It's with Him. So I just want to point you guys to Christ, because that's where the victory lies. Thank you once again for tuning in. If you're still here, yeah, leave us a like, leave a comment. Let me know what you thought about this story. And yeah, if you feel led to do so, please subscribe to my channel. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Cheers.